So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our dear Reverend Cefroht Herbert to give us the opening blessing before we have official welcome remarks from our hosts. If you're not a reverend, clap for the reverend.
Let us humble ourselves in prayer. Almighty and everlasting King, God our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. And Lord, we thank you for the journey mercies that you've accorded us to this place. Lord, we thank you for the organizations. And Lord, we thank you for each and every one of us who is here. We are not here by mistake, but Lord, we are here for a purpose. Come forth and be upon every activity that is going to take place. The Lord, each and everything will be glorifying your name. As we hear for a cause, which we are looking at way back in the Bible, when the mother of Moses fed him in Exodus chapter 2 verses 7 to 9. Lord, breastfeeding has been even witnessed in the circles of Lord religion. Here we are in the celebrations, in the launch. Come and take full control. Be upon all the people that will be speaking and all activities. Lord, we put into your hand our guest of honor as preparing to come and be part of this, and all organization, the leadership, and this place. The Lord, use them and be with us. Give us good time as we are here. And we call upon the calmness and good time and good weather, that whatever will take place will be for the good of this our country. We thank you, bless your holy name, because you blessed us. Through Jesus Christ we pray.
Amen. Amen. You want to give Reverend Cefroht a bigger round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. He surely deserves more than that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to take the honor to invite who, in many ways, we want to believe is our host to give us official welcome remarks first. And also give us an overview about what we are here and what we are all about today. Once again, we want to thank you for coming and being part of the national commemoration of the 2026 World Breastfeeding Week campaign. We all know what the theme is already by now, don't we? Don't we? Do we? Do we? We don't. Check your tables. Check your tables. Check the table. We don't want to overload our hosts. Check your tables and read. Yes. You know what the theme is for this campaign, right? Pronounce it.
Breastfeeding week.
This lady is pronouncing it in vibration mode. Who can be louder?
Breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life. Strengthen what works.
Ladies and gentlemen, to give us an overview of the status of things and give us a tone at how we can strengthen what works already. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome with me Dr. Samali Namukose. She's our Assistant Commissioner, Ministry of Health, Department of Nutrition. This is a better mic.
Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, allow me to recognize all of you. Our development partners, I can see UNICEF, World Food Program, World Health Organization. I can see the civil society organizations represented here in big numbers. the representatives from the various ministries, departments, and the agencies, colleagues from the Ministry of Health, the media, mothers and their infants. You are most welcome to this meeting where we are discussing breastfeeding. And I believe all of you breastfed, and that's why you are here. Dr. Samali Namkose is my name. I'm the Assistant Commissioner, Nutrition Division, Ministry of Health. I sit at that building there. You know it. And I welcome you to this very, very important meeting. I want to start by saying that breastfeeding is not only an investment in improving child's health and saving lives, but an investment in human capital development that can significantly benefit a country's economy. And for every $1 invested in breastfeeding, it generates $35 in economic returns. What an investment. And that's why we are here to talk about breastfeeding, to promote it, to protect it against any influence whatsoever. So promotion of breastfeeding can avert 11.6% of all infant death. And it is a foundation stone upon which a healthy nation is built. Why the World Breastfeeding Week? I want to say that the World Breastfeeding Week is an annual global campaign that is held during the first week of August. And the aim is to raise awareness about the importance of breastfeeding and to mobilize action to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. The week brings together governments, health systems, communities, civil society, partners, families, mothers and their infants to discuss this important subject. And the World Breastfeeding Week is coordinated globally by the World Alliance for Breastfeeding, in short WABA, in collaboration with our partners who are here. I want to specifically mention WHO, UNICEF, World Health, World Food Programs, and other partners who are in this place. So what is the theme for this year? It is breastfeeding for sustainable start in life. Strengthen what works. Indeed, we are here to strengthen that which has worked for us as a country. And I know you have quite a lot of experience of what has worked, and where you are seated on those tables, you share those experiences with one another of what has worked and what you think government, Ministry of Health, and other MDAs can take on to implement this very important initiative. So the theme emphasizes the importance of building upon proven interventions, strengthening existing systems that support breastfeeding. And it recognizes that sustainable improvement in breastfeeding outcomes require strong health systems. They require supportive communities. I'm very happy that some of you are working within the communities. We want to talk about those experiences in communities that are working. The effective policies, the workplaces, families, and partnership across board. So the objectives of this year's World Breastfeeding Week is to raise awareness about the importance of breastfeeding. to anchor breastfeeding implementation through policies, guidelines, to engage individuals and organizations to enhance collaboration and support breastfeeding, to galvanize actions on improving breastfeeding protection, promotion, and support. We want also to take this opportunity during this World Breastfeeding Commemoration to officially disseminate and launch guidelines that promote a healthy food environment. We shall be talking about the human milk banks. We have developed standards that we are going to share with you on how we can support the vulnerable children, those who cannot breastfeed, those whose mothers have died. We are going to talk about it. We are also going to disseminate guidelines on feeding in disabilities, and also the nutrient profile model. All these are very good instruments for creating an environment where we promote healthy food choices. And the the very first health food choice is what? Is breastfeeding. So as we continue, I want again to remind this audience of what the Ministry of Health promotes or recommends as far as infant and young child feeding is concerned. Immediately the mother delivers, we encourage early initiation of breastfeeding within the first hour of delivery. Even those who have delivered by Caesar, we say they should be supported to initiate breastfeeding as early as possible. And this helps to establish breastfeeding, it promotes bonding and provides essential nutrients and antibodies to the newborn. The other is exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. This is really very, very important. It ensures that the infants get the best nutrition within the first 6 months of life for immune protection and preventing against infections and diseases. And the exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life is a golden ticket to child's thriving future. We encourage, after 6 months, for the mothers to continue breastfeeding up to 2 years and beyond. I want to inform the meeting here that we don't just speak, but we put these things in practice. I want to share my experience that I am a breastfeeding mother. I once breastfed my children for 4.5 years. So I speak from the practical point of view. So even if these young ones go to nursery, they can come back and continue breastfeeding. That is okay. So even mothers who are HIV infected are encouraged to breastfeed as long as they adhere to the ARV treatment. And we encourage them to breastfeed at least for 12 months of life. But the baby should be given ARV for prophylaxis. The mother should adhere to the ARVs. And those who have adhered, actually, they have reduced this transmission from the mother to the baby. So that is what we recommend. Next. Okay, so this one I think I've talked about it. Breastfeeding being a very big investment. Yes, breastfeeding has several advantages, very many benefits. Benefits to the infant, benefits to the mother, benefits to the community, benefits to the nation. And that's why we are here to blow the trumpet about the benefits of breastfeeding. Ladies and gentlemen, I may not mention all the benefits. There are so many. And that's why we are here to talk about those benefits and continue telling mothers about these benefits, encouraging them to put their babies to the breast, not fearing that their breasts will become chapati, as they say. Yes, next. So what is the situation? I am happy to inform the meeting that there has been an increase in hospital deliveries. At least 86% of our mothers, is it 86? Should be above 86 of our mothers actually deliver in health facilities. And that is very encouraging, that while they are there, they will get all the support that they would need to optimally feed their infants. So I think you need to give a very big hand clap for this. Yeah. Okay, so as far we recommend early initiation to breastfeeding, and to be precise, 91% of our mothers initiate breastfeeding. And that is really very wonderful. We are doing very well. Again, a very big hand clap for that. And we want to encourage, there are so many benefits of early initiation of breastfeeding. And from, again, the recent Uganda Demographic Health Survey, we have 87% of our babies who are exclusively breastfed. That means giving only breast milk to these babies. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very big achievement, and that's why we are here to celebrate this achievement. It is also worth mentioning that there are those who are started on pre-lactal feeds. Before breastfeeding, established mothers actually who give other foods, others give chogero, others give ajono, like in Teso region, all kinds of drinks. This should not happen. We want all these babies to start with breast milk alone. Breast milk. Next. Okay, so what has worked for us? I want to say that as you can see that there are those forces that are pushing breastfeeding down and those that are trying to uplift breastfeeding. That uplifting breastfeeding is what has worked for us as a country. No wonder the theme is talking about strengthening what works. So you can see the enforcement of regulations on marketing of breast milk substitutes has really worked. In the country, we have labored to discourage mothers from using breast milk substitutes unless otherwise. So this has, as a country, we have breastfeed. So over the years has increased, and you are here as partners to work with us as governments to ensure
that all those facilities actually that offer those services are accredited baby mother friendly. The issue of breastfeeding campaign like this one is also something for us. We have decentralized the campaigns. We expect each and every district actually to talk about breastfeeding so that this reaches the woman in the rural areas. The workplace, regulations, establishment of the breastfeeding corners is something also that has worked for us. And ladies and gentlemen, just stay calm. You are going to listen to experiences of those organizations that have stood out in establishing such facilities. And this is important for the working mothers have always had challenges, so such facilities can help them. The other one is the training, capacity building of our health workers is also something that has worked for us. And the partners who are here will to ensure that the areas where you are supporting, you work with the government, the ministries, the districts to train as possible so that they are able to give quality nutrition services to these mothers. I want also to talk about those fighting forces that are really pulling the curve down. And one of it is the unsupportive health facility practices, delaying initiation of breastfeeding. This is happening in some health facilities, and we are here to talk about issue that where you are working, kindly support and work with the health workers to support these women breastfeeding within the recommendations of the Ministry of Health. And we have also had some information, some infant food manufacturers going to health facilities, talking to the health workers, persuading them to buy milk substitutes. We want to discourage that now, and we are saying we are not recommending it as the Ministry of Health. Let these mothers be breastfeed. The other one is the media making infant formula fashionable. Some mothers think that when they go in for this infant formula, it is fashionable. Therefore, they forget about breastfeeding. This should be discouraged. So, those are issues that we need to address as a team. Next. I want also to proudly inform this meeting that we have enabling environment to protect and promote breastfeeding. We have guidelines, we have policies around infant and young child feeding. We have regulating of breast milk substitutes, and if they are violated, there are penalties that are associated with those violations. The employer is there that supports breastfeeding. The maternity leave is also there to support breastfeeding. And we are saying stay working days. We are trying to work around increasing the number of days. If we can go to 6 months, that will be very as ladies, because we know what it means. Yes. The Employment Act, I have talked about it. All these are that have worked for us as a country. Next. Yes, scale up of maternal, infant and young child adolescent nutrition is also something that has worked for us. We do not only support the nutrition of infants, but we want to support nutrition of the young ones, nutrition of the women, nutrition of the adolescents. I want also to inform this meeting that recently we have embraced what we call multiple micronutrient supplementation. We are providing at least some women in some regions in this country. And this is something that we want to scale up to each and every woman because it is a product to iron folic acid supplementation. Community also some of the things that have worked for us, the mother care groups. I'm happy that in this room we have partners who have really to promote establishment of mother care support groups in various districts in this country. And to institutionalize these mother care groups because they have worked. It encourages peer-to-peer learning. Next. Okay, again, on the barriers, we see the young women, the young girls, the prime gravidas, those who are pregnant for the first time, having difficulties in breastfeeding. These need really a lot of support. Some of the barriers are also the family influencers, mother-in-laws. Some of you who have mother-in-laws, you know what they talk. Sometimes they can really discourage good practices, and we need to get information to be re-energized on how we can overcome such challenges. The hospital gaps, there is inadequate support, especially for the mothers who have just delivered, supporting them to initiate breast. The myth and taboos are also some of the challenges that we need to continue fighting. In some communities, they say eat eggs, they should not eat chicken. Those should be discouraged because we are denying the nutrition of the mothers. The labor demands, where mothers have to return to work early, is also something that is a barrier that we need to come, and together we need to come up with solutions on how we can support these mothers. Next. So I want to say that as a team here, let us examine the challenges to breastfeeding promotion at all levels and be able to act on those solutions that we shall have come up with. We should be able to support the implementation of actions to create and sustain healthy food environment that promote access to and availability of nutritious, safe, and affordable foods. Together, we can strengthen what has worked. We can support breastfeeding and a healthy food environment for all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Wow. You want to give Dr. Samali a bigger round of applause. Dr. Samali, before you leave, yeah, you have a very big ask to this country and the leaders that be, and the leadership may be that be where we have never reached when we are still alive. You heard, she said that she wishes and she hopes that we get to a point where policy dictates others can have 6 months of maternity leave. And all God's people say, if you believe that very soon Uganda can, amen. Now, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Samali, we had the honor of inviting one of our key partners. I think one of our national agencies that has facilities that empower breastfeeding mothers. Yes. And if I'm not, that is NSSF. I'm very sure we have a representative.
Okay, thank you very much. Say that if other countries can do it, 6 months of maternity leave.
Yes.
Why not us?
Because we have not reached that.
What is count? Allow me to invite NSSF, an organization that out as far as having a conducive breastfeeding environment for. I'll request you to introduce yourself and share your experience so that everyone who goes and starts looking at establishing such a facility at their workplaces. You are most welcome.
Doctor. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Breastfeeding for assessed life, strengthen what works. Let me send my shouts out to Maria from UNICEF. So thank you very much. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. My name is Etho Nagadia. I work with NSSF Uganda as the Manager, Employee Wellbeing. It's a great honor, allow me to read so I can make it sir. So it's a great honor to share the NSSF story of supporting breastfeeding mothers in the workplace. A story that demonstrates what strengthens what works. In line with this year's theme, at NSSF, we believe that supporting an employee does not end at the. We recognize that our employees are parents, caregivers, and members of families. And that when we create an environment, well-being, and family responsibilities, we also create an environment where they can thrive and give their very best at work. It was at ground that we opened up our lactation facility, which we call the creche, in October 2019. Professionals, young graduates who have done bachelors in childcare, to help us to come and manage its day-to-day operation, that the babies and their mothers receive the appropriate care and support. We started with just 5 babies, but today we say that the facility has supported over 100 babies. You can do the math and see how many mothers have benefited. Force that has 270 ladies. Yeah. But for us, it's not simply numbers. Each number represents a mother, represents a family, and behind every family is a story. Every day, our breastfeeding mothers are able to make time to come breastfeed their babies and spend precious moments bonding with the babies. The opportunity may appear simple, but its impact is immense. There is an indescribable comfort in knowing that while a mother is at work, her baby is nearby, safe, care within reach. It gives the mother peace of mind to concentrate on her work, knowing that she doesn't have to constantly worry about the well-baby, maybe with a caretaker or a nanny at home. Through this support, our working mothers have been better able to balance their work and family responsibilities, remain highly productive, continue to develop their careers, and pursue their professional aspirations, while also being present for one of the most important in their children's lives. This has contributed to making NSSF an employer of choice. I think you agree. Our lactation facility is in fact one of the most appreciated staff benefits, with a recorded staff satisfaction rate of 100%. And perhaps the greatest measure of success is this: no mother at NSSF has to choose between raising her young baby and a livelihood. The mothers have been able to be a mother, to be a professional, to nurture a child, and to continue to build their careers. For us is what workplace support should look like. Our experience also goes beyond NSSF. Our facility has inspired other organizations. We have opened our doors and provided opportunities for all other companies to come and benchmark with us, learn from our experiences, and explore how we can create supportive environments for breastfeeding mothers. We are particularly proud that our efforts were recognized in 2023 by UNICEF and Ministry of Health with an award for championing the rights of breastfeeding mothers at the workplace. Affirm that when institutions take deliberate action to support mothers, they are not only supporting
recording in progress,
they are contributing to healthier families, and a healthier nation. Our journey does not end there. I'm almost done. The theme, breastfeeding for a sustainable strengthen what works, reminds us that when we find solutions that make a meaningful difference, we must sustain them, improve them, share them, and encourage others to adopt them. We have seen mothers return to work with confidence. We have received care and nourishment they need. We have seen employees remain productive while fulfilling their responsibilities as parents. And we have seen, began with just a few children, blossoming to having all this number of children. Even right now, if you visit us, you see the joy of the little babies and the benefiting. So as we celebrate what has been achieved, let us also challenge ourselves to do more. Let us strengthen the workplace facilities and workplace cultures that enable women to breastfeed and continue working. Let government streamline the standard operating and guidelines in line with the newly enacted employment law reforms that currently mandate every employer to establish and sustain a facility at their workplace. Let us create workplaces where motherhood is not only viewed as a barrier to career progression, and let every mother who wants to breastfeed her child has the support, the dignity, and the opportunity to do so. So if you're asking me as an employer, what can I start with these 4 things? You need space, you need time, you need management support, and you need to have the right culture in place. Loyalty, productivity, and healthy children. Because when we support a mother, we support a child. When we support a strengthen a family. And when we strengthen families, we strengthen our nation. That is the NSSF story. A story of commitment, ownership, a story of caring for mothers and babies, and above all, strengthening what works. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Ethel. Because we are streaming live, I want you to go back to your speech and highlight what we need. Because I know there are organizations out there who have the capacity, have just not implemented this. Yeah. For you, we know where your capacity comes from. It comes from us. But
we work for you.
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, I was thinking of coming for my benefits, but after what you've told us here, you can keep my money. You can keep my money. Use it on breastfeeding mothers. There were about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
What every organization needs to just copy. Let us put it plainly. Copy NSSF. Give us that.
So we need to put aside time to create these spaces and support the people. We need management support. Every employer should put in deliberate to see that this works. And then you need to have the right culture in place. That's our culture at NSSF. We are people-centric.
Wow.
And one thing, Richard, like they mentioned, maternity leave until 6 months.
Okay.
For us, maternity leave is the mandatory 90 days, but a mother can stay till the baby turns 6 months and work remotely. And when you return...
With no pressure.
No pressure. And when you return, we take care of the baby at the crèche.
Office and figure out whether whoever is in her shoes is doing better than her.
Story for
That's
another
Uganda
day.
for Uganda.
But thank you very much.
Thank you, Ethel. 100 mothers have been helped by NSSF. Clearly, of the 100, I think they are definitely listening to that space more than once. There are people who are taking advantage of those spaces, which is a good thing also, yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, Ethel, before you go, before you leave, because we know it's a working day, you might need to be in office before 1. But earlier on, we talked to a lady who runs an initiative with a team, and they're running a breast milk bank, and that is relatively a new thing to Ugandans. To expound more on that, ladies and gentlemen, so that we get to know the status of things as far as banking breast milk, both who have excess breast milk and for babies who can't access breast milk. To help us throw more light on that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Dr. Victoria. Yes, full of energy.
Thank you very much. I don't know if my presentation is going to be projected. So I am going to talk about Human Milk Bank and state lactation centers in Kampala. Briefly, I'm a doctor, I'm a neonatologist, and I work within Zambia Hospital. And I would like to thank the Ministry of Health for allowing us to present experience in setting up human milk banks. I work with babies. Early nutrition is very crucial for preterm babies to survive, there to stay, and also thrive the long term. But very few mothers actually, when you have mothers in the hospitals, few of them actually by 48 hours. A few studies have been done. If a mother is not able to get milk, or if a baby doesn't have milk past 48 hours, these babies actually are going to have poor growth and development. So it's very important that is actually have breast milk in the first 48 hours. I also follow up babies. I follow up babies up to 2 years. Poor weight gain or poor nutrition is associated with poor neurodevelopmental outcomes. Saying that we must improve interventions to improve lactation or to support our mothers so that we can have enough breast milk. I'm not going to talk so much about, but it's a place where you recruit donors, the milk is collected, processed, screened, and then distributed to have optimal health. So I'm not going to talk so much about that. Someone else is going to talk about it. So what were that we had as a hospital to ensure that we have a human milk bank? Number one, I know many of us want to start human milk banks, but it's not as. So we took almost a year. Number one, we had to assess our facility readiness using an international tool which identifies and weaknesses. We had a technical team within our hospital, and we engaged a consultant who had experience with human milk. We then established SOPs and guidelines and registers that can enable you to have a human milk bank. We then had to have a baby-friendly hospital initiative committee and training. We then also designed a communication strategy among workers. We designed brochures, health education that were promoting breast milk and breastfeeding. We then also have one audit. So every year, we audit the bank to see, are we adhering to the standards for human milk banking? We had to visit another unit, local setting of Africa in Kenya, to see how is this human milk bank set up. For you to have a good human milk bank, you must embed in the services. For example, our human milk bank is within our kangaroo mother unit because you have easy access. Then there is also safe use of human products. We had to have a training. Then a nurse from Pumani in Kenya came and mentored our nurses, and the launch was done. Honestly, as a hospital, we had strength, and we also had weaknesses. Some of that strength that we have, being a neonatologist and working with babies, we observed when we gave these babies breast milk, there was a significant reduction in some of the comorbidities that you get in the newborn period. For infection of the tummy, they had less infection or like retinopathy of prematurity. And therefore, we started what we are human milk sharing, because we are promoting the incest of use of breast milk. However, we are doing it in a standardized way. However, of the weaknesses we had, we never had proper lactation centers or support. So the nurses were also very busy to do the lactation. So having the training through human, we now have lactation nurses whose primary role is to support the mothers to breastfeed. And I thank God that you cannot have a newborn unit when you don't have people who can support mothers to breastfeed. The nurses you see who work in the very busy. So we had to get lactation nurses to come and support. So we launched the bank, in the year 2021 in November. So our statistics, so far we have collected about 400 liters of milk, and we've distributed 80 liters. We have had about 600 donors that have participated in the campaign, and 210 newborn babies have been able to get human milk. Majority, actually, all these babies are preterm babies. So having full story, then we started what we call lactation satellite centers. So through a network, we have been doing quite improvement hospitals in Kampala. We work with Mengo, Lubaga, Naguru, Chibuli. So we established lactation satellite centers. We designed a model for lactation satellite center where we just got infrastructure, simple infrastructure, provided private lactation. We provided a sink, provided breast milk pumps, and actually a freezer. We then also designed a training model, human milk banking in the Ugandan context, and also how to set up a lactation satellite center in the Ugandan context. So that we enroll, we must train you on human milk banking, how to safely transport the milk, and how to support lactation. So training usually is about, it's about 2 days. Then we also formed, because for you to get human milk, I'm learning, you have to be a marketing. We also got a good communication strategy. So we communicate amongst ourselves as the centers concerning the money is needed, concerning the donors. So these satellite centers, we established one in Mengo, we established one in Rubaga, established one in Naguru. So they actors have blood donation. So they get their milk, they bring it to us to do the pasteurization. I didn't go through those processes because somebody is going to talk about it. So in order for you to give the milk safe, so these lactation centers collect the milk, we pasteurize the milk, and we have a network whereby we also then transport them. So in Rubaga, because it's just opened up, we have about 26 donors, and about 22 liters of milk has been, and we've also distributed to about 5.4 liters. And the average gestational age of the babies that get the milk from Rubaga is 30 weeks. Naguru, actually, Naguru is very surprising. They have a lot of milk. So far collected 40 liters. We just started in a few months. And the total volume that's been donated or given to babies is about 22 liters. And the average gestational age of the recipients of the babies that get the milk is 32. And then mango, we've had about 20 donors. We've collected about 40 liters of milk and given about 20 liters of milk. And average gestational age of the babies that actually get the milk is 32 weeks. So in conclusion, it is possible to have a human milk bank. And I feel more sustainable if you have like a hub and spoke model where you have lactation centers sending to the main bank, and then you share the milk in between like the way they do blood donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nashubuka. Very elaborate submission. We are not done when it comes to, you know, human milk bank. We are going to have Madame Laura. Personally, I have never been in doubt of if I was adequately breastfed in Nigeria. And I visited, and I saw how tall those men are. Because we want to hear from quite a number of initiatives, because one of the other four is, you know, to share knowledge and the know-how. So there's another community that we want to invite. I think that is Cascade. Please come and share how much and exactly what you do in this particular area that we are discussing, the area that is, you know, and how important it is both in infancy and for people like us. You guys are laughing at me because I doubted. Hey, here it. A story shall be told along the way. If there's any presentation that has... In the meantime, by the way, just so you know, because we Ugandans also believe when we see, we have a video that we want to use to show you what the center at NSSF for breastfeeding mothers looks like.
Yeah, thank you, moderator and all members. You observe all the protocols. My name is Pagahara. I work with Cascade. I'm in Toro region, but we are also evident in other areas in Karamoja, Acholi, and we are implementing a project where we are assuring that we fight, we strengthen food security and improve the malnutrition levels. And I will just dive a few other activities that we do under this and what we have done. We have actually training mothers to ensure that we strengthen the 1,000 days, and we use the MyCan and other tools. This has helped us a lot What we have realized, I'm going to be brief. We have observed that with breastfeeding, we have to have which goes beyond the clinic. As Cascade, we have made mentors, and these mentors are helping us. What you see there is a 28-year-old mother who is breastfeeding 2 children. This is a story which is strange but true. Is 14, another one is 4 months. She went through a lot. She wanted to abort. She suffered a lot. She was in the family, but we engaged a trusted home-based care person. This person is with her from time to time, not at the clinic. She was with her 3 times a day to ensure that she takes on breastfeeding, and then she keeps on breastfeeding the 2 babies. You see, each child, each baby has her own or his own or nipple to ensure that she separates the old aunt and the young one. So it has happened because of this champion. She goes to her, guides her, counsels her. She's able, and she now has breastfeeding good. They are healthy. Another thing we do down there is the role model men engage. We realized that men had a lot of norms surrounding them that were affecting breastfeeding. Breastfeeding was for women. Men had a lot of issues to do with children, care work. But you see that when you evolve men, they tend to support their wives beyond. So we have evolved the men to ensure that they shift these norms around breastfeeding so that they are able to participate in providing for the children. When men engage, here you see this gentleman. For the first time ever, this household was a GBV case, and the child was malnourished. We introduced the men engage approach. The husband appreciated, shifted the norms, and here you see he's kneeling down and saying, "My wife, I can kneel." This is very good, and it has to be sustained. My friend, go down, down, down. And here you see the men are serving their wives, and the woman is giving us a positive feedback of how she feels. Her man has helped her to appreciate. Down here, you see the men engage is going beyond. We are training men how to provide food to the children. And here it is assorted foods. The foods using the fat. We want these men to appreciate what foods in the local environment can provide energy, can provide proteins, can provide fats using the local foods. So we are encouraging the Chitovero, and here a man is preparing meal for the household. Here you see men here are now doing serving. They are preparing the food. All this is done. So we have gone beyond the cooking. We say several other interventions, integrated approaches to ensure that the man appreciates that when you support a wife, when you support that environment, you break the chain of GBV, the woman is less stressed, she's supported, she gets more time to provide for the baby. So now our mothers around Toro and Acholi are able to breastfeed more than 8 times a day because the men are supporting. Picture you see a gentleman is appreciating. This is a gentleman who one time shifted from the household because the wife was breastfeeding and they were disturbing him at night. When the child was demanding breast milk, this gentleman could run away. But when we guided her through the male engage, is saying, I think I did a mistake. He's giving us a very, very good testimony that indeed, if a husband supports the wife, the woman will get enough rest, and then malnutrition will be moved. So what have we learned out of this? We have learned that the strongest lesson that women need more than information. They need timely and practical support at breastfeeding. Challenges rise, but when communities are aware of what happens, we can actively assist feeding. We need to strengthen the home-based champion. This is a very new innovation. It has worked in Cascade. That in a clinic, don't get results as we want. But when we have the champions, these are people who go to the breastfeeding mothers, they support them, their challenges, they have more time for them in a setting, they discuss real challenges in time, then we can be able to succeed because we did and it has worked. With the stakeholders, what we want is one need to recognize and form a champion, as I've said, because these are peer counseling cadres, but this will not substitute the VHTs. These will be champions who will be able to support day-to-day basis. Then we need to adopt a standardized, further inclusive mobilization through the male engage. The male have power, but when we talk to them, they relax a bit, and then our women are released, they're relieved. So when you support a man, when you engage a man, is benefiting. We are also using a multi-sector approach where we engage the district nutrition committee and the sub-counties. And we have adopted the PDM. For us, across there, the PDM is our lowest unit, so we cascade from the PDM. The PDM has become the parish nutrition committee, then the sub-county and the district. So we are able to tailor our trainings as actors along on board. For the donors, we need to prioritize multi-year financing, and we do refresher and support and recognize the community levels. The private sector engagement, we need to promote, we are also encouraging as Cascade, practicing friendly breastfeeding practices. As our workers can have breaks on site and maybe in nearby health care. Our priority actions to scale up, as I conclude, we are taking on breastfeeding champions at household. How can we support them? We need to train them so that they do enough linkages to the mothers, because they don't know what the mothers are going through practically. And this will help our pregnant mothers, lactating mothers, within the community to breastfeeding friendly facilities and also appreciate breastfeeding. We have got the father's math and the daddy's camp. We want the mothers and the fathers to engage with their children, and we are taking this up. We are saying the fathers and the grandmothers being as people with high power, but also with high influence in the households. We need to engage them and talk to them, and we shift the negative, because these people are helping, they are actually poorly or negatively training the women to start giving food to the children. And then for other clinical referrals and protocols, we need to have routine joint monitoring. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Thank you so much. You want to celebrate Patrick? You can tell we're doing something with a lot of passion. We send our warmth and love to that lady. Yeah, who has one breast for a 4-month and another one for a 14. The hustle is real out there. The hustle is real for breastfeeding mothers. That's Mundibujo Patrick, right? Toro. The difference is small. The difference is really small. And yeah, what we see in Toro is happening across the nation. So, lending more value to the argument that we need national human milk banking guidelines to be adhered to the dot. Us get that information even more clearer, ladies and gentlemen. We have a senior nutritionist, Humuza, in our midst, and she's going to share with us. And after Laura Humuza, we shall be having Dr. Prospero Grezio Ochen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Laura Ahumuza Mcharaturinawe, and I'm here to give us about the other 2 documents that we are launching today as part of the World Breastfeeding Week. These are the human milk guidelines and then the nutrition guidelines for children with feeding disabilities. So I'll start with the human milk banking guideline, please. We developed the human milk banking guideline after a realization that we really had a big gap in terms of care and support for vulnerable infants, and these include those that are born too small, the prematures, those that are born too ill, or those that are born before time. We call them the low birth weights. So you can begin. Okay, this is just like to remind ourselves that as a country, we subscribed to 3 main recommendations that align with the global, one being initiation of breastfeeding within the first hour of life, then exclusive breastfeeding, and continued breastfeeding. Just to remind ourselves. I don't know if it was capitation. So we can move next. Why the guideline? Again, we know it's a global recommendation, WHO, UNICEF, which minister adopted that when there is no prospect for a baby to breastfeed directly from the mother or to his own milk, then the next best alternative is actually donor human milk. Donor human milk is milk we pick from another mother, process it very well for safety, and then it's provided to the vulnerable newborns that I have talked about. So that's why guidelines today that we are able to fill and bridge that gap. You can go next. We know it's evidence-based experience that when these vulnerable infants are not really cared for appropriately, the risk of them dying or the chances that they survive and get to see the next day or next generation is actually very minimal. So children like this increasing in our health facilities, and as a country we needed to do something to ensure that we are supporting them to thrive to their full potential. And also, I talked about the global need, the global alignment. So because we subscribe to many of the global coalitions, we needed to align as a country and be able to monitor ourselves on how we are supporting. before we thought of the guidelines, there were already many partners doing it. And for a country to be able to and make sure everything is going up to the standard, then we needed to have national guidance. So that's the rationale for these guidelines. Next. So basically, the guidelines will work to bridge the gap. I talked about that very huge gap. But also, we want to breast milk for its benefits for the child. I will not go into the benefits. Breast milk is good, it's wholesome, it's safe, the best meal that the baby needs when they are in that the first days of life for them to lay the right foundation. Also have a standardized guide for the nation, but most important, we look forward to learning from it because we know there are many things remained, but we should be able to monitor, to learn, to track, and inform future programs and policies. Next. Yeah, so I kept it short because this is not a technical meeting, so just to, show you what we have, tell you about it. And so as I conclude, this is our quote. It's a quote for everyone, that every vulnerable newborn deserves access to safe human when mother's own milk is not available, and it's everyone's responsibility to contribute to this dream. Yeah. So as a presentation, I would like to make some acknowledgements because this work is supported. It's not Ministry of Health alone, but it's supported by partners. I would like to acknowledge the contribution, financial, technical, from UNICEF Uganda. Clap for them. We had support from St. Francis in Zambia Hospital, Dr. Victoria. They were the initial brains behind the human milk were there. They started first before government. And they had a guideline which we worked with to, to adapt. And, it was a reference material for the launching today. Then Mbale Regional Referral Hospital, Dr. Kathy is not here, but they also had a guideline, so we referenced. So we appreciate them in their absentia. Born on the Edge is under Mbale Regional Referral. Then Perth International, they have very beautiful resource materials which we referenced with. We can appreciate them as well. Atta Community, I think you have heard about Atta Community. They support community approaches. So they don't have milk banks in communities, but they support the identification of the mothers in need, the referral, and question about human milk banking. Then my CAN technical team, Dr. Elizabeth Choneka, Dr. Hanifa, Doreen, Alupo, and many others. It's a big team. I would like really to appreciate you. And I conclude on this first review. This guideline is going to be launched in the next coming minutes, so that it's now out there for everyone to use, for us, its dissemination countrywide. Thank you. Next. I am transitioning, ladies and gentlemen. We also have another group of vulnerable infants that have disabilities. And specifically for this guideline, we are not looking at children who are lame or who have one, but we are specifically focusing on children with feeding disabilities. So those that have forms of disability act on their feeding. So as some statistics here, we know that globally we have about 1.3 billion who have disabilities. It's about 16% of the total population for the world. Then out of those, million are actually children, right? And we know up to 80% of children that have disabilities that actually lead to feeding 80% of those that have disabilities, yeah? So 80% of these children, the 291 million, have disabilities that impact on feeding. Are we following? Yeah. And we also know that of the 80 feeding disabilities, 3, those that have feeding disabilities are 3 times more likely to be underweight or stunted, right? And 2 times die from malnutrition. Be able to integrate services, so it's not a standalone guideline, but we should be able to integrate in the other services in the health sector, MCH, maternal child health, nutrition, antenatal, and community. So finally, again, the need to have evidence, because it's still at global, but we need to have a country context, country evidence base, which we can use for programming. So conclude again, the primary users are going to be the healthcare providers, the frontliners, and then we'll have secondary users, policymakers, academic, community, and development implementing partners. All of us, we will use that. The guideline. Next. So, nutrition services must work for every child, and we don't want to leave anyone behind. So we are talking of nutrition inclusivity. The services that have disabilities, and they get appropriate care. Finally, as I conclude, I wish to again acknowledge and appreciate the contribution of the following partners. World Vision Uganda, if you're in the house, please. Spoon Foundation, both Uganda and the global. UNICEF Uganda, and my MyCan Technical Working Group. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Laura, can I take the chance to hijack you from there? And I transfer the honor of inviting Dr. Prospero Grace Lonyo Ochen. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to celebrate her as she comes here, because what she's about to give us is another, groundbreaking achievement. It's the Uganda Nutrient Profile Model. Who better to detail it for us than Dr. Prospero Grace Ochen?
We are in a critical time, I'm sure, and we've been seated for quite a bit. Some of us came as early as 8. I'd like us to stand up and just give your neighbor a high five. Please, stand up, just give your neighbor a high five, then we sit down again and we proceed. Thank you so much. Yes, in the Ministry of Health, we always say keep moving, okay? So that we don't get blood clots and strokes and the like. Thank you so much. So it's now time for us to throw some spanners into the works. We've been listening to breastfeeding. Now I want to change to science. And I hope that we shall enjoy it. But you don't need to worry, because I'm going to simplify the science as much as possible. So nutrition has a very wide scope. Many of us may not know. And what we've been looking at this morning was the MyCan component. That is the life cycle from maternal, infant, young child, adolescent, and adult nutrition. But we also have other components in nutrition. For example, we have also the IMAM, that is the integrated management of acute malnutrition. We also have food safety, and we also do social behavior change. So we are now going to look at another component, which is more on the side of food safety, and that's the nutrient profile, the Uganda nutrient profile model, which will also be launched today. And to do that, I am Dr. Grace Ocheng. You can use whichever name you feel easy to pronounce. So like we've seen from the presentation early this morning on breastfeeding, breastfeeding is the first line defense against NCDs. As long as you breastfeed your child up to 2 years, the commissioner said she breastfed up to 2.5 years, you are giving your child a better chance of surviving NCDs. But there's also things that we do in the process of manufacturing that also puts us at risk. And that's what we are looking at here today. So this is a tool, and I'm going to explain what this tool does. It is for developing healthy food policies. That's the biggest priority. And then its primary purpose is to help us to scientifically classify processed foods and beverages based on their nutrient content for disease prevention. The specific objectives, of course, are to set the nutrient thresholds for excessive nutrients and to support the development of a policy which will help us to promote healthy diets, to increase consumer awareness through education and labeling, to guide formulation of processed foods to meet the health standards. If you look at the bottom of that screen, you're going to see those nutrients. These are the ones we are calling the nutrients of concern, which are the ones exposing us to risks of NCDs. And when I talk NCDs here, I'm talking of type 2 diabetes, I'm talking of high blood pressure, obesity, and there's also another type 2 diabetes that is also found in the undernourished group of people. So emphasis of the NPM will be on those nutrients of concern. Next slide, please. So unhealthy diets have been shown to be the contributors of NCDs worldwide, not only in Uganda. But in Uganda, those below the age of 70, we are having deaths of about 33% attributed to NCDs. This has not happened before. Our grandparents lived up to the ages of 90 and 100 plus, and they did not have any NCDs. But now people who are below 70, at the higher risk of getting these NCDs. And the trend is because of consumption of processed and ultra-processed foods, which are high in salt, sugar, unhealthy fats. And there's also an unhealthy environment, which I'll be showing you shortly. So, every Ugandan stands a 22% risk of dying from a diet-related NCD, according to WHO NCD country profile of 2018. Next slide. So this is the environment that we're exposing our children to. And we are starting to expose them to this at a very early age. So by the time they get into their teenage, by the time they get into adulthood, they've already accumulated these risks. Okay, they've accumulated the salt, the sugars. You find many are obese at a very young age. You know, there's type 2 diabetes that is on the rise. Okay, and many of us are familiar with Fresh Kid. You see his face on a banner which is promoting a sweetened beverage. When you look at the extreme end there, the Burger King, I'm sure if you walk to your child and that child saw that poster, they'll definitely demand a burger from you. Okay, this is a signpost at Kololo SS. And what are we promoting on the signpost? A school signpost. We are saying we should refresh ourselves with Coca-Cola. Okay, so when you look around town, but now because of the work that we are doing together with a team from Molago School of Public Health, most of these banners have been torn down because we are promoting unsafe, high-risk foods for our society. Next slide, please. Okay. So there was a survey for the NCD, called the STEPS NCD survey, and out of it, it was discovered that 26% of adults in Uganda are hypertensive. That's a very, very high percentage. And then 3.3 have type 2 diabetes. And type 2 is a lifestyle disease. And then there's rising overweight and obesity at a rate of about 19%. That was in 2011, but it has increased, as you can see, to 26.4%. And especially in women. Women, we have to take care. Okay, next slide. So, in 2024, the Ministry of Health, with support from our partners, UNICEF, WHO, Cefroht, we undertook this landscape survey in 14 districts in Uganda. And these were the results. Total fat of all the foods that we sampled on the market. Makiu, we went to the borders, we went to the extreme borders of the country. We did the survey in the central, we went to the north, went to West Nile and southern Buganda, and these were the results, and they were the same across the board. So 38% of the processed food had high total fats, and then 46% were exceeding in saturated fat thresholds. That 46% is really too high to have those products on the market and people are consuming them regularly. 48% of those products had excessive free sugar. Someone will ask me, what is free sugar? There's the sugar that you add, but then there's also the one that you process. For example, when you process juice, you are releasing the sugar. So the sugar in that fruit juice is free and easily absorbed into the body, and it spikes your blood sugar faster than if you had eaten the whole fruit. So that's what we mean by the free sugars. Then, of course, the high trans fats. This one comes from the oil that we use, like for frying chips, frying donuts, frying mandazis, and in the market, they keep reusing this oil. So the more times you reuse it, the more you're increasing on the trans fats. And these trans fats are one of the highest causes of some cancers that we are facing in the country. And of course, salt is the highest exceeded nutrient of concern in most of these products. So just go back to that slide. Yeah. So these findings underscore the urgent need for us to have a regulatory intervention. That's the reason why we have worked on the nutrient profile model. Next slide. Okay. So this is the scope of the nutrient profile model. It will focus on the processed and ultra-processed foods. I want us to get this clearly. Okay? It's not going to focus on the local, natural, and processed food. For example, vegetables that we find in the market, fruits that we find in the market. But it's going to focus on what we call ultra-processed. These are like the cornflakes, like some of the beverages, the sweetened beverages. As long as you are adding in an additional nutrient, that is an ultra-processed food. The crisps, which we like giving our children, yeah? So those are the ultra-processed. But there are some which are minimally processed, like for example, the Jessa milk, the fresh dairy, fresh Jessa milk. Those ones are minimally processed, and it will not be a focus for the NPM. So I've already talked about those nutrients of concern. So this nutrient profile is going to set thresholds, okay? For example, we are going to have guidelines that will state the threshold for your sugar content in your product should be less than or equal to 5%. We're going to have all that in the guidelines so that we are able to guide consumers and also processors on the thresholds, the maximum limit for which you're supposed to ensure your product has these nutrients of concern. Next. Okay, so this is the key thing for us here today, how the nutrient profile is going to be used. I said it is a tool. And what is the role of this tool? It is to help us identify the unhealthy processed foods by providing thresholds, okay? Such that when you go, after we have done the guidelines and the education and sensitization, this is just the start. This is not the end, okay? This is just the nutrient profile for Uganda, which we want to use to set thresholds for healthy food products. So this is the first step. Now that we have this first step, the next one will be to do the front of the page, front of the pack warning labels. And in those warning labels is where you're going to get the thresholds. And we shall be encouraging people. We already are. Yesterday we had a media breakfast and were disseminating this information to them so that they can pass it to the public. So that the public knows that when I'm going into a shop or a supermarket, probably I want to buy a processed fruit juice. Please take time to read the label. Read the nutrient content of that product that you want to consume so that you know that you are taking it aware that there is a nutrient of concern that is higher than the recommended threshold. Then secondly, it will be used to develop the front of the pack warning labels and guidelines and policy for manufacturers. So I've already talked about the warning labels. That one will be on the products of the ultra-processed foods. But also, we shall have policies for the manufacturers so that they restrict themselves to the thresholds that the NPM has set. And then the thresholds will support the identification of unhealthy food, therefore support the development of these policies and regulatory frameworks. Then the manufacturers will use those guidelines to support labeling, especially in the nutrients of concern. And once the products are labeled, consumers can be able to make informed choices. And then manufacturers will also be motivated because we know once consumers start taking keen interest in the nutrients in these products, they know which products they will avoid and they know which products they'll consume. So the manufacturers will be motivated to produce what is on demand by the consumers. So they'll have to start producing products that are low in sodium, sugar, saturated fats, trans fats, and total fats. And then we shall have a healthy population and the risks of NCDs shall be reduced. As I summarize, my last slide is just a pictorial of what will actually happen when we have this NPM. Okay, we've already talked about identification of those foods, these policies that we are going to develop and regulatory frameworks, the front of the pack labeling. That is just a sample. If you can see those tiny boxes, okay? In it, we have a warning. The first one says high sugar. The second one says high in saturated fat. The other one says high in trans fat. The other one says high in sodium. So the products that are usually high in those products will be mandated to label using those labels. But we're still going to test. Once we get into the front of the pack warning labels, we're going to test them and see which one is acceptable to consumers in the country. Of course, we've talked about the industry. They'll have to reformulate. We know they have products now, but once we have this already done, plus the regulations and guidelines, many of the industries will have to reformulate to be able to conform to the recommendations of the Ministry of Health. Ultimately, we're looking at reduced risks of NCDs, improve public health and productivity, lower healthcare costs, and as we all know, it's very expensive to treat some of these NCDs. For example, the insulin that you have to buy almost on a regular, it's very expensive. And for a poor person, it's almost unaffordable. But once we reduce these risks, then that means the cost of healthcare will also go down for individuals, but also for the country. And then we'll have a stronger food industry and innovation, and then ultimately healthier Ugandans and a stronger Uganda. So this is just a tool, and it's linking us to policy, labeling, industrial action, and consumer benefits. So, ladies and gentlemen, the NPM is also going to be launched today. Like I said, nutrition has a very big scope. So if we are to do everything nutrition, we shall have a nutrition activity every other day. But we chose to ride onto this day when we are commemorating the World Breastfeeding Week to also launch the nutrient profile, the Uganda nutrient profile model. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Grace. Thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you. You want to give Dr. Grace a bigger round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. She really detailed that. Dr. Grace, I'm personally most interested in that second last slide. We have a lot of work to do by the look of things. You know, you were detailing things, and I remember the last time I took an energy drink, name withheld. You take one sip. You take one sip of a locally made energy drink, and you would have taken, I don't know how many kilos of sugar in one. Dr. Grace, give us an indication. Pardon?
Between 6 to 10 teaspoons of sugar is in that small can that you've taken. 6 to 10 teaspoons of sugar.
6 to 10? So would you advise that we take coffee and we drop those energy drinks? Yeah? You do not know how many energy drinks guys take in a governor in one night. 1 or 2. So, because we've seen statistics lately. The non-communicable diseases these days. Back in the days, like you stated, it was people in their 60s. Now it is we guys under 35 that are going there. Dr. Nyanyeza Nomtwevambi. It is a sad story. I want to pledge, Dr. Grace, that we shall use our platforms to spread this gospel. Yes, we are, and we don't want money. We shall do it. Yeah, because we want audience members to stay alive so that they can bring the money. Yeah, but if you feel like you want to pay, this is my mobile money number. Yeah, we want to pledge because we don't, it is the spirit, really. Even this noble cause that we are here for. We know we have organizations here, we have leaders in many places. Some of them are just volunteering, like the gentleman we saw here, Mr. Patrick and his team. We want to thank Best and Still Stand. I like your enthusiasm. We shall be launching officially at the tail end of the event. In the benefit of time, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go for a session where we're going to hear statements of commitment towards breastfeeding, inclusive nutrition, and implementation of the national guidelines tools. And we're going to have about 6 to 8 speakers. I promise you, this next session is not going to be very long because as it states by the word, they are statements of commitment. So the statements are going to be as short as the MC. So allow me to call on the first representative. The first representative is going to come from Goal. Goal. We celebrated Goal earlier on. If your organization is not was not celebrated in the very beginning, please, we celebrate you. We celebrate you, and we celebrate everyone who has, laid a brick in the direction of achieving what we are up to today and this particular campaign.
Just as short as the MC said.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dennis Kafoko on behalf of GOL Uganda. I'm going to say a few words. At GOL, we believe that strengthening what works means reinforcing proven interventions. We believe community support, health systems investment, workplace policies like mentioned from the NSF side, public awareness, spreading knowledge that breastfeeding is not just a choice, but a shared responsibility for development are crucial. Just to highlight that men don't compete with kids when it comes to breastfeeding, just be partners in that kind of regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Men, you have heard. Thank you, Mr. Kafoko. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, we are going to have a representative from Cefroht. Cefroht, the Center for Food and Adequate Living Rights. They've been up to something big, and they're going to share with us in a minute or two. Cefroht. We need a representative. Agataliko mfufu. Aba Cefroht. Babuze. You know, Ugandans are used to attending weddings. You might be waiting for a song to come. Yeah, it is official business. We call you chap, you enter. Cefroht. Bambi, you're very humble. You don't want to put yourselves in high places. Go higher.
Good afternoon. So my name is Nami Mungure. I work with the Global Health Advocacy Incubator, and we are partnering with Cefroht. We work together closely with the Ministry of Health to develop the profile nutrition model. And I just want to say thank you so much to the Cefroht team. Thank you so much to the Ministry of Health. Commissioner, we appreciate your work together with the team at the ministry. And we believe through this, the NPM model that we have, we are going to lay a very strong foundation to regulate front of pack labeling in Uganda, which will also spread to other East Africa countries, member states. Kenya has developed the NPM as well. Tanzania is working on it. So far, Ugandan NPM is the strongest and evidence-based NPM. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you. So back to you, MC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cefroht. Thank you for the good work you are doing. We appreciate. And next up, ladies and gentlemen, we are calling a representative from Food for the Hungry. And in charge will be Mr. Ayena Godfrey, who happens to be the country director.
Thank you, MC. Our guest of honor and all invited guests, our mothers, the children who are here as well, development partners, the UN agencies, and all the health workers. And we are just to reaffirm the commitment of food for the hungry. We have been a partners of Minister of Health for a long time. Since we got established in 1988 in this country, health and nutrition has been central in the work that we do. And this is because we believe that every child deserves an opportunity to survive, to grow, to develop, and also to thrive. And because of that, we commit to continue working with Ministry of Health, the local government where we work, the communities we work with, caregivers, to ensure that we strengthen adoptions of MyCan practices in the community, strengthening health systems in our work. We also want to continue promoting breastfeeding and friendly workplaces in where we work. We want to increase and be part of inclusive nutrition, supporting human breastfeed milk bank initiative that has been launched today. We also want to support healthier food environment. We also do not just want this to be a statement today, but make our commitment as part of the action and have this embedded into our country plan as an organization. We shall be sharing our report in due date with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ayena. Next up, very quickly, I invite the representative from ACF. ACF, if we have any, and if we don't, oh, she stepped out. She stepped out. It is okay. We are moving on. We are moving on to World Food Program. Yes, I could tell you could not wait to come up the podium and share with us. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you very much. MC, is that working?
Yes, it is.
It's working. Good.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcus Pryor. I'm the Deputy Country Director for World Food Program here in Uganda. Very much enjoyed the discussions today. As you get older, you begin to look at those food labels a lot more closely and understand the value of healthy foods and a good diet. So thank you to everyone who's working on that to improve the health of the people of Uganda. And obviously today, as we celebrate World Breastfeeding Week, particularly the newborns of Uganda, because WFP recognizes that good maternal nutrition and breastfeeding are inseparable. Well-nourished mothers are better placed to provide the best start in life for their children. We will continue to support actions to address the root causes of food insecurity and malnutrition, with a particular focus on reducing malnutrition among vulnerable populations. Through our nutrition programming, we'll continue to support pregnant and breastfeeding women and girls with nutrition assistance designed to improve dietary intake and reduce the risk of malnutrition. And finally, we'll continue to promote healthy diets across the life cycle through a combination of nutrition-sensitive and nutrition-specific interventions, including cash-based assistance, food assistance, social protection support, and efforts to improve access to diverse and nutritious foods. We remain committed to build on the interventions that have demonstrated results, and I reflect on the theme of today's event, strengthen what works already. And we remain committed to using our global footprint to source best practices that can help us further improve support provided through our programs. I want to recognize and congratulate the government on the achievements made to date and to underline that the WFP is here to support and enable in whatever ways we best can. So on this World Breastfeeding Week, let's celebrate the mothers of Uganda and recognize the collective efforts that have helped promote breastfeeding, healthy diets, and better nutrition outcomes for women and children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus. Thank you for highlighting the breastfeeding mothers of Uganda. In our midst, actually, the real VIPs are breastfeeding mothers, and we have quite a number here, and we shall be recognizing them more specifically later. You might want to celebrate them right now. The VIPs are seated around with us here, breastfeeding mothers. Right now, we step back to invite the country director, ACF, Madam Rita Kabanyero.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Action Against Hunger strives to see a world free from hunger. And for Uganda specifically, we believe the hunger nutrition problem can be solved. And the things we are talking about here should show all of us that the solutions are within us, within our society, within our country, within our individual efforts, right from a mother to a community, to a professional, to the organizations, government, all of society is required for us to solve this issue. And as Action Against Hunger, we remain committed to this vision. And for me specifically, every time I come to these meetings and I see these presentations, my mind starts thinking about all the many options available. When you look at that nutrient profile, the question I ask myself and the organization I lead is, what can we do now? When I look at the nutrient profile, I'm thinking, what advocacy interventions do we need to start doing now? When I look at the disability guidelines, I'm already thinking about the partners we need to talk to, and this should be for all of us. So as an organization, our commitment remains. We will support as much as possible. We are available for partnerships as we've been working with the Ministry of Health and with the other development partners and civil society organizations until we see a world where hunger is not an issue for Uganda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And next up, we have World Health Organization in our midst. We recognize the presence of the officer in charge, Christine Masanu. We also recognize the presence of Dr. Hafira Kasule.
Thank you very much, Masters of Ceremony. All protocols observed. It is my pleasure to join you today as we commemorate this year's World Breastfeeding Week under the theme, Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start in Life, Strengthening What Works. This theme reminds us that sustainable development begins with healthy mothers and children. It challenges us not to reinvent solutions, but to strengthen and scale up the interventions that have already proven effective in improving child survival, nutrition, and lifelong well-being. I think today, the whole morning we've heard about breastfeeding, and it remains one of the most powerful and cost-effective public health intervention available. I will not belabor you with the data on the benefits, but I just wanted to say that as Africa, as the African region, we have demonstrated that progress is possible in breastfeeding and in nutrition interventions. Several countries, including Uganda, have registered substantial improvement in breastfeeding practices over the past decade. And I would like to congratulate Uganda and the government of Uganda for the progress they've made, because this reflects strong government leadership. It reflects dedicated healthcare workers, supportive communities, and sustained investments by partners in the country. And this success that we are witnessing, that we heard from the data in the morning from the Assistant Commissioner, should inspire us to continue action rather than being complacent. As World Health Organization, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to supporting the government of Uganda in promoting, protecting, and supporting optimal breastfeeding, advancing inclusive nutrition for all populations, and accelerating implementation of guidelines that are going to be launched today, the 3 guidelines we heard about. WHO will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Health, development partners, professional associations and bodies, communities, to strengthen policy implementation, build health worker capacity, generate evidence that can be used to change policy, and ensure equitable access to quality nutrition services. Together, we commit to creating an enabling environment where every infant, child, adolescent, and family can achieve the highest attainable standard of health and nutrition, contributing to Uganda's progress towards universal health coverage and sustainable development goals. Let us all acknowledge that breastfeeding is not solely a mother's responsibility. It is a shared responsibility that requires supportive families, responsive workplace, strong health systems, and enabling policies and informed communities. By investing in breastfeeding, we invest in healthier children, healthier mothers, and stronger economies and a more sustainable future. Together, let us protect what works, let us scale up what works, and let us invest boldly in what works. So it's all about investing in what works today and onward and forward. By doing so, we can ensure that every child in Uganda has the opportunity for a healthy and sustainable start in life, laying the foundation for a stronger, healthier, more productive, and more prosperous nation for generations to come. I thank you.
You want to give her a bigger round of applause? Now, lastly, in this session of getting statements of commitment in the mission of strengthening what works for us is one of the biggest partners in this mission. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome with us UNICEF.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of the UNICEF country representative, Dr. Robin Nandi, it's really a great honor to be here and commemorate with all of you this great day. And thank you for all the presentations and for all the key stakeholders here, including health workers, community leaders, and also the mothers and their infants. Today also marks an important milestone with the dissemination of key national nutrition documents. I really would like to commend the government of Uganda, particularly the Ministry of Health, for its leadership in protecting, promoting, and supporting breastfeeding. And we saw throughout this presentation how breastfeeding provides essential nutrition, but also strengthens immunity, protects against illness, and supports healthy brain development. Therefore, investing in breastfeeding is investing in healthier children, stronger family, and Uganda human capital and future prosperity. The evidence is clear. We know what works. We must scale skilled breastfeeding counseling, strengthen baby-friendly health facilities and community support through VHTs and mother-to-mother groups, promote maternity protection and breastfeeding-friendly workplaces, and enforce the international code on the marketing of breast milk substitutes. UNICEF remains committed to working with the government of Uganda and partners to strengthen breastfeeding through stronger policies, quality services, supportive communities, adequate financing. But let me leave you with 3 key asks to the government that now all these guidelines that we disseminate today are costed and taken down to the district level and matched by dedicated budget line for nutrition. To employers in both the public and private sectors, that paid maternity protection and breastfeeding-friendly workplaces become a standard practice rather than the exception. And to all of us in this room, that we hold the line on the international code and that we finance what the evidence is already telling us. Let us ensure that every mother receives the support she needs and every child the best possible start in life. For every child, nutrition. For every child, a sustainable start in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We want to give her another round of applause. And because this day, we highlight the special people being breastfeeding mothers. And we have a few of them here representing all breastfeeding mothers in Uganda. So allow me to use about 2 to 3 minutes for Dr. Chiboneka Elizabeth to come up here and honor the breastfeeding mothers that are here in attendance. Dr. Elizabeth. And all the mothers that are here that breastfed. Yeah, also clap for my mother. I'm not sure she gave me the how many liters? Did you mention?
Good afternoon, everyone. May I see where the mothers? Bamama muliruddawa. Bamama, okay, right. I've been asked to talk in Luganda. So if you don't understand Luganda, ask your neighbor what I'm saying, okay? Bamama tusanyuse nnyo balaba olunaku luno olwaleero nga tukuza ate nga tujaguza olunaku olw'okuyonsa. Mbadde njagala muwulirize bino bulungi kubanga zino ensonga ze tubadde twogerako ng'omukulu Dr. Samali bwe yayogedde, okuyonsa kuno kintu kikulu nnyo. Kati obubaka bwe twagala mufune olwaleero, ekisooka omwana bw'omuzaala, omwana bw'azaalibwa, olwedde mulina abaana ne message eno, bino biyinza okubikozesa ku mwana gw'onoddako okuzaala oba abo b'obeera b'owangalira nabo eyo gy'obeera. Ekisooka singa omwana omaze omuzaala nga wakamuzaala bw'oti, muteeke ku kifuba kyo oba ku lubuto. Omwana ono alina okutandika okuyonkerawo mu ssaawa esooka nga wakamuzaala. Kuba ekino kikulu nnyo kubanga omwana alina okufuna entandikwa ennungi. Ekyokubiri, omwana ono kirungi n'omuyonsa nga tolina kirala kyonna ky'omuwadde okumala emyezi 6. Tomuwa mazzi, tomuwa mata malala, tomuwa mata ga mibikebe, tomuwa kintu kyonna kirala. Muyonse buyonsa okutuusa emyezi 6. Emyezi 6 bwe gituuka osobola okutandika okumuwa ku mmere endala nga abasawo bwe baba bakutegese obulungi. Ekirala, omwana ono alina okwongera okuyonka okuva ku myezi 6 nga otandise emmere, naye omwana ono muyonse okutuuka ku myaka 2 oba n'okusingako. Twafunye wano example emu, maama yatugambye nti ye yayonsa emyaka 4.5. Omama singa aba alina akawuka asobola okuyonsa singa nga ali ku ddagala bulungi eri abasawo lye bamuwadde erya HIV oba okutuusa ku mwaka gumu. Njagala muwulize bulungi, okutuusa ku mwaka meka gumu. Maama naawe weerabirire, lya bulungi, nywa bulungi, osobole okufuna amabeere g'osobola okuyonsa omwana. Oyinza okufuna ebizibu nga singa omwana ono oli mu kiseera kino eky'okuyonsa. Bw'oba ofunye ekizibu kyonna, kirungi n'otuukirira abasawo ne bakuyambako. Abo bwe mbeera nabo eyo ba VHTs oba mu ddwaliro eriba likulinaanye. Mwebale nnyo okumpuliriza era kansuubire nti bino munaabikola bulungi ate ne mubituukiriza bulungi. Thank you.
Tuyanziza nnyo Dr. Elizabeth. In the same spirit, before Dr. Elizabeth takes her seat, I would wish on behalf of all of us to thank the School of Nursing, Mulago Hospital, for hosting us. And if Sister Josephine is here, where is Sister Josephine? Where is Sister Josephine? Where is Sister Josephine? Sister Josephine, we just want to honor you with 1 minute here.
Thank you so much. Dear our guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, we want to appreciate the golden opportunity that we as a school hosted this important event. Thank you for coming. Thank you as educators who have not remained the same. We have been motivated that the young ones will not abandon breastfeeding. We will promote it, and we shall ensure we promote together. Thank you. Breastfeeding is the best feed for the young ones, and it ensures good health. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm Josephine Inambiro Chigozi.
My name is Susan Alio, a senior health tutor in Mulago School of Nursing and Midwifery.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting us. So now, ladies and gentlemen, before we have the Commissioner, Health Services, Maternal and Child Health, Ministry of Health, our dear Dr. Richard Mugahi, speak to us. I want to recognize the presence of other government agencies and departments. We have, these ones in many ways are also our implementing partners and supporters. We have members from the Ministry of Trade. Yes, we have good people from KCCA, Kampala City Council Authority. Please stand up for recognition and we celebrate you. Hey, there you are. We have good people from National Planning Authority. Thank you for the spirits, and we have representatives from the Ministry of Gender. And now, ladies and gentlemen, another keynote speech, bigger keynote speech, in the sense that right now, I invite Dr. Richard Mugahi in his capacity right now as a guest of honor. Yes, so he's standing here in the capacity of the Minister of Health, ladies and gentlemen.
A very good afternoon, everyone. You sound hypoglycemic. Is there some breast milk? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, MC. I am trying to understand the big, very diverse protocol. But first and foremost, my name is Dr. Richard Mugahi. I'm the Commissioner for Reproductive, Maternal and Child Health at the Ministry of Health. I'm here in 4 capacities. One, I was also invited to attend this function, but also I'm representing the Ministry of Health top management. I'm delegated to read the speech of the Honorable Minister. but also I'll make some comments briefly from the technical side. Allow me recognize the government MDAs that are here, ministries, departments, and agencies, like already enumerated. Our health development partners, well enlisted, UNICEF, World Food Program, WHO, and the I think and the others. Our implementing partners, GOAL, Cefroht, so many abbreviations. SIF, you're all recognized. Academia, Makerere University. I think I had mentioned World Food Program. Allow me to say also our breastfeeding mothers and all the mothers here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, without forgetting our media, the media fraternity and the MC. I think today is really a special day, and we've really talked and made commitments. My honest feeling is if we can follow our commitments with commensurate actions, then we shall change a lot in the face of not only breastfeeding, but the entire nutrition landscape. Allow me read the speech of the Honorable Minister verbatim. But importantly, I want to remind you of the very popular Uganda adage of Gava Mukulya. You know the Gava Mukulya? MC, you know that one? That we are what we eat. And before I dive into the details of this program and the theme, Uganda is at a critical crossroad. We are not going this side, we are not going this side. We have people in our population like me who are undernourished. We have people who are overnourished. So we have nutrition outcomes on two extremes. We have people who are grossly undernourished with all the malnutrition that my friend and team from nutrition have enumerated. But we also have an emerging epidemic of people who are eating badly. They are overeating. So when we look at nutrition, and for our media friends who are here, you have a very critical role to help us in this. Nutrition broadly, if you go out of moderation, if you go to the extremes, if you go beyond the extreme overnutrition, you're coming up with NCDs. If you are undernourished, you have the effects of malnutrition. With my background in maternal and child health, which I head and work very closely with Samali, we see a lot of outcomes affected by poor nutrition, poor maternal nutrition, preterm babies, maternal malnutrition, including PPH, the leading cause of maternal death, is greatly linked to maternal malnutrition. As a matter of fact, 50% of all PPH deaths are linked to maternal nutrition. The mothers are anemic even before getting pregnant. This is a feeding issue. So colleagues, allow me read the speech of the minister. I note the theme of today's commemoration, breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life, strengthening what works. Ladies and gentlemen, breastfeeding is not only a natural way to feed an infant, it is one of the most powerful investments we can make in health and well-being of our children, our mothers, and our communities. It is a fundamental right for every mother, child, and has far-reaching benefits for baby, the mother, and the community. I think what I didn't hear coming out clearly from the maternal health perspective, breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding is actually family planning. A very simple and cost-free intervention for you, like the lady who's breastfed for 4 years. Who was it? Was it you, someone? So breastfeeding is one of the non-hormonal interventions for child spacing, and our mothers are so much aware about this, and some of them have used it very efficiently. But we also emphasize that it should be used with backup method, especially if it's not exclusive breastfeeding. So this year's theme reminds us that what we already know, that many interventions to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. Our responsibility now is to strengthen them, invest in them, and measure their impact and ensure that what works reaches every mother and every child. I had earlier alluded to this, that we can end by making statements, but importantly is for us to walk the talk and support our statements, commitments with serious actions. We noticed the great progress made by our country, especially coming up with some of the new policy documents that we are going to launch today. And the team, I want to request that we put our hands together and appreciate the teams that have been behind these great policy documents. The clapping is hypoglycemic. In my culture, when you choose to eat, you eat. When you clap, you clap. So thank you very much. That was better. During the discussions, I noticed that we need to simplify science better. I'm sure the MC has left with a lot of gaps in things like NPM. MC, you still remember? I would be very surprised. The mothers behind there do not understand what we mean by NPM. And I was also lost, so I asked somebody, my neighbor, that in 1 teaspoon of sugar, how many calories are there? So in the simplified messaging, and take this very seriously, we want to communicate science in a more simplified way. So when you are giving, when I'm putting in 2 teaspoons, I think the small ones are called teaspoons of sugar, in my tea, how many calories am I getting? So energy is measured in calories and kilocalories, and that is what you burn. So for your body to gain too much weight, you're probably in positive energy balance. You have too much that you're taking in and you're burning less, especially some of us who sit for so long by virtue of our occupation. So you are sitting too much from the car, from home to the car, from the car to your office seat. There's a fundamental problem with your energy balance. And the moment there's an energy imbalance, then we have a big challenge. So in our simplifying messaging, which we must make as an imperative and circulate to our colleagues in the media and the other social leaders, we need to bring it to their attention that when we talk about too much sugar, what is too much sugar? What is too much salt? I've heard this statement of Ugandans are taking too much salt. I up to now don't know what is too much salt. So I think the team that is working on this, please simplify these messages and make them very important communication points. We are proud as a country that currently in Uganda, 90% of our mothers, and we need to clap for the mothers behind there, are able to breastfeed in the first 1 hour. We are looking for the 10%. And the 10% of Aluzungu, the English people don't want to breastfeed. Reason that their breasts will become pendulous. Media don't capture this one. But they have so many reasons. But would love as a country, we are a breastfeeding country. I want to see 100% breastfeeding practice. It's not debatable. It is good, it is scientific, and good for both the mother and the baby. We also need to push out into the public what is unique about breast milk that probably is not in the formula milk. That narrative should be well phrased and pushed out into the public. As we commemorate World Breastfeeding Day, we are competing with industry. I'm aware there is already a Formula One, formula from zero up to around 1 year, and very expensive for an ordinary Ugandan. I tried to Google, we found a tin of formula costs around 95,000 Uganda shillings. That's almost $25. That's very expensive. So at any cost, we need to promote breastfeeding. It has a very good component of immunoglobulins or antibodies that protect the baby against infections. It has adequate water. It has vitamins. We need to promote breast milk as the only complete food for our baby, and only do otherwise when there is a very serious health need. I'm sure the team from nutrition, led by Dr. Samali, has enumerated the achievements of the Ministry of Health or government in this space of nutrition, to note among others the MICAN strategy, maternal, infant, and young child adolescent strategy, implementation of the baby-friendly hospitals, and in the recent performance review summary, we want this scaled up to more than 50%. The proportion is very low. The donor milk, the human donor milk. This is an exciting intervention, and Ministry of Health has taken it up. We are going to scale it to all regional referrals in the coming year. We are happy to note Nsambia as the pioneer. Dr. Victoria, you're well recognized, you're here, and you reached out to me to do a lot of work in setting up the others. We also acknowledge that we are working with Ministry of Local Government to set up institutions, breastfeeding corners. But I also want us to be very intentional in advocating for an expanded leave for mothers who give birth to preterm babies. They cannot have leave of 3 months like other normal babies. That one, we are following it up very religiously. I'm also cognizant that MMS, multiple micronutrient supplementation, has been rolled out in many regions in Uganda. This is for women who are used to iron and folate. Now we have multiple micronutrient supplementation, a more elaborate product that gives more benefits to the mother and the unborn baby. Ladies and gentlemen, strengthening what works is not only a statement, but an imperative, something that we must. If you don't strengthen what works, then you are using guesswork. You're a witch doctor. Because you need, with science is built on evidence. You look at what works, what has worked, and you multiply what has worked. So the opposite of not using what works is using what doesn't work, or where there is no evidence. That is not the position of Uganda, and we are very, very intentional in scaling up what we call high impact interventions, and with no doubt, what I've listed above are part of the high impact interventions that we want to scale up. MICAN, baby friendly, the human milk breast banks, community-based models of care, protecting mothers and families from inappropriate marketing and breast milk substitutes, and breastfeeding friendly places in our workplaces. We are discussing, I think you need to discuss with local government. They want to put breastfeeding corners in markets, the big markets. I think they've already put. We can put for them chairs, I think, when we get money. And we also know that fathers and families and communities need to be strongly behind this for us to make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, our journey in nutrition and breastfeeding has been a protracted one. Just near to where we are sitting, I think 100 kilometers from here. And it's a free space, you can freely pass there after here. We have a surviving Ugandan who was born with less than 0.5, less than a kilogram. We have the youngest surviving Ugandan at the Women's Specialized Hospital was born with 0.48 kilograms, less than half a kilo. Can you imagine? Yes, they've clapped. This is not guesswork. This is about implementing what works. Can we clap again? There is a team of committed Ugandans out there trying to make sure that preterm babies are surviving. Preterm babies are supported. And that's why I want to recognize the team that is collecting milk. I think, I've forgotten their name. There's an organization that picks milk.
ATA, I think.
ATA, can you stand up for recognition?
Yeah.
ATA. I know what you do, I don't know what your name is.
ATA. 1 letter short of matter.
I don't know why I don't know why they did not make a statement. Their innovation is changing lives. Please take their numbers. If you get any mother who doesn't have breast milk, they will provide you free of charge. They have contacts. It's more like a network kind of thing, but I really like the work you do. But also the outreach services for the newborn. Your organization is called? Oh. Briefly, as part of my speech, you know I have 3 speeches. Tell us what you do. This organization follows up preterm babies after discharge. We found that they actually die so much after discharge, and this organization follows them. Katerega.
Yeah, the Preterm Infant Parents Network Uganda, and we follow up preterm babies after they have been discharged from the hospital. And I would love to tell everyone here that yes, we've seen the results. The results are really good. We no longer see babies die. We are having timely referrals after identifying danger signs within the community. We link mothers that don't have issues of breastfeeding with ATA, and we get pre-donated breast milk. And yeah, we support them with nutrition and other areas like infection.
Thank you very much. The rest, they can get your business card. We cannot understate what works. That works. The breast milk works, and many other interventions that are being piloted. All these have not been done without challenges. There are definitely challenges. There are definitely gaps, but we're working very hard as government to ensure that the challenges are addressed. Creating breastfeeding places like the NPM, marking the breast milk substitutes and exposure to inappropriate marketing. And the investment, because we want to scale investment to the other regions. As you notice, most of these very great interventions are centralized in Kampala. The first breast milk bank was in Kampala, the NICUs are in Kampala, but as government, we're doing everything possible to ensure that we move out of Kampala, and we've started, as you've heard, that Mbale also has a breast milk bank. Friends, we need also to take cognizant of issues at the downstream. Not only nutrition, but also infections. As I earlier mentioned, we still also have issues with infections. An infection like malaria. Government has invested so much in prevention of malaria. Malaria can actually cause an imbalance in your nutritional system. You lose your appetite. The children also can quickly go into malnutrition. But importantly, it can also cause preterm birth. And these cost a lot to our healthcare system. So as we look at nutrition and breastfeeding, we are not only looking at them in isolation, but in the entire spectrum of health and well-being. The aspiration of Uganda, in line with our Vision 2040, is a health community, a health population that is empowered and productive and economically empowered. So for us to achieve the aspirations of Uganda Vision 2040, we need to ensure our population is safe, our population is healthier, and our population is productive. Today's national commemoration is particularly significant, as we have come together not only to celebrate or commemorate breastfeeding and recognize the mothers, families, health workers, communities, but also we are using this national commemoration to strengthen the policy and programmatic environment within our breastfeeding, newborn care, and good nutrition are protected and promoted in Uganda. It is therefore fitting that as part of today's commemoration, Uganda is launching 3 important national instruments: the National Human Milk Bank Guidelines, the Nutrition in Disability Guidelines, and the Nutrition Profile Model. These instruments broaden and strengthen the significance of today's commemoration. They remind us that the health start we seek to provide through breastfeeding must be supported by health and nutrition system that responds to vulnerability, promotes inclusion, and protects health nutrition throughout the life course. I therefore call upon the relevant departments, programs within the Ministry of Health to provide leadership for the systematic dissemination, operationalization, and monitoring of the instruments being launched today. I call upon ministries, departments, and agencies to integrate these priorities within the relevant policies, plans, and budgets. I call upon local governments to ensure the national commitments translate into quality services within our districts and communities. I call upon health facilities and health workers to translate these guidelines into respectful, evidence-based services for mothers and the newborn. I call upon employers from the public and private sector to embrace breastfeeding-friendly places where mothers have adequate time, privacy, and appropriate facilities to breastfeed or safely express breast milk. I call upon the private sector to uphold responsible practices and contribute positively to healthier food environments. I call upon the development partners, the UN agencies, and civil society to continue supporting government and aligning investment with national priorities and strengthening sustainable national systems. I call upon academia and research institutions to continue generating evidence and innovation to help understand what works and what doesn't work and what we should put to scale. The media to provide families with accurate information, challenge misinformation, and use platforms to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding and good nutrition. The media is very important here. I call upon fathers, families, and communities to stand beside the mothers. And all of us should move together into one direction. I just wanted to enlighten the threats that we are facing as a country. In some places, especially rural places, you find a young man in their mid-20s, they are looking so malnourished. And the issue is alcoholism. Alcohol has a very detrimental effect on our health, even affecting our nutrition, including absorption of some critical mineral elements in our bodies. So as we also advance the message against for nutrition, proper nutrition, we should also advance the messages against alcoholism and substance abuse. There are so many forms of alcohol packages that we see on the market now. Finally, acknowledgement, the Minister of Health, officials who are here, thank you so much. And the lead in this, Dr. Samali, nutrition partners, UNICEF, as I had earlier enumerated, we appreciate your contribution and very strong support, all of you, to this very important function, and all our invited guests. But I don't want to forget Dr. The mother of nutrition, the grandmother of nutrition. Samali is the mother. Dr. Chiboneka. Wait. Oh, Chiboneka. Dr. Chiboneka, kindly stand up and we recognize you with a very big clap. Dr. Chiboneka is the grandmother of nutrition in Uganda. She managed the nutrition ward. I don't think she still has clients. Now nutrition has improved. Doctor, do we have some babies there? I think they have reduced. But she was very instrumental in putting up the Mwana Mujimu and the activities of Mwana Mujimu in the Greater Mulago Hospital. and want in a special way to recognize and acknowledge your efforts. On behalf of the Minister of Health, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, whose apologies I want to formally lay before you. He was actually coming. We were in the same meeting, and he actually failed to make it because he was the chair. So I want on behalf to present his apologies for failing to make it to this meeting, and the PS, because they had another engagement that took them by surprise. But I hope I've done a good job to deliver their speech, and I wish they could delegate me more and more. For God and my country. Thank you very much.
Amen. Amen, amen. You want to give our guest of honor a bigger round of applause, and
I only want to leave when we finish the other parts.
Yes. So, Doctor, before you leave, I would ask that Dr. Samali joins you. We have, all of us here are definitely enthusiasts in this already. But the good statistics that we saw earlier, we definitely have some people to thank and organizations to thank. And this is the moment that we are going to award some of our outstanding partners in this noble cause.
NPA, can you step forward as a partner government? Might be someone from the UN just to help us in UNICEF. Okay, UNICEF. WHO, UNICEF, step forward. And a representative of mothers? I don't know. But they must be breastfeeding now, so it should not disturb them.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, we are starting the award giving session right now, after which we shall do the official launching.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Minister, for making Honorable Minister of Health, the PS, and Director General, Minister of Health, for ably officiating at this function. He deserves a very big hand clap. That is not enough. Continue clapping. Yeah, so at moments like this, we recognize outstanding organizations, individuals who have contributed to the improvement of health and nutrition of Ugandans. I'll be very brief. We have Dr. Victoria Nachibuka, very instrumental in human milk banking. Okay.
Just shake your hands.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, can I have Madame Rola and Dr. Prospero join us here? So we have Dr. Kathy Bagoni from Umbale Regional Referral Hospital, again very instrumental in human breast milk banking. They have a very wonderful facility. You need to go and visit.
Colleagues, let's clap for these individuals. If you only know what they do.
Getting accolade for Dr. Kathy.
Come and pick for Dr. Kathy. Me, I'm very fast. We do things
Dr.
fast.
Kathy.
Deo Gracias will pick for Dr. Kathy.
Okay. So we have World Vision Uganda, very instrumental in supporting nutrition programs. World Vision, any representative from World Vision? Okay, who is receiving for World Vision?
Dr. Grace is going to receive on behalf of World Vision. As Dr. Grace receives, we have a recognition award presented to Gold Uganda for their unwavering support for the nutrition program.
Okay. Gold Uganda, thank you for the support. Members, don't get jealous. You keep clapping.
And next up, ladies and gentlemen, it is SCF. They have an initiative, Mommy, Care Pathway, and the other community, MI, MICAN. And BFHI. Next up is FH Association for their community MICAN interventions. And very quickly, next up, we want to appreciate Vitamin Angels for their special maternal nutrition, multiple micronutrient supplementation. Vitamin Angels, we have them here. And then next up, big hand clap for Kane Uganda. Yes, these ones, they are champions for breastfeeding facilities in workplaces. Great job done. Also, receiving recognition and being awarded is Cefroht. Cefroht, for your nutrition advocacy and for all the work you've put in what we're about to launch in a few minutes from now. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, give them a big round of applause. World Food Program. I hope we still have a representative. Yes, World Food Program has given a very big push as far as school feeding is concerned. Adolescent nutrition component of the MICAN initiative. And yes, for that, ladies and gentlemen, especially for World Food Program, you know, we've been talking breastfeeding. Adolescent nutrition is also equally important. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, UNICEF. UNICEF. Thank you, UNICEF, for everything you have done for us as far as the MICAN initiative is concerned, BFHI, nutrition in disability, human milk banking, MMS, IMAM. But there's just a lot of acronyms today. We need to finish before the general public thinks we are launching another political party. Especially when you come to yeah, NY, NP what? NPM. So I think a group picture is in order. A group picture is in order. We need to have it here with our guests of honor and everyone up there at the platform. Let's go up there. Let's go. Let's. Oh, the awardees stand down and the awarders stand up. Director of photography, you can help us on this one. I don't know how wide your lenses are. Banang, I also saw members from Nakasero Hospital. We celebrate you. Yeah, the nutrition staff. Yeah, some of the awardees, please. Let's come. Let's come here. Yeah. Actually, it is a disadvantage for you to be up there. You're the ones we are celebrating. Get closer to the lens. Yes. How about you just wanted to be closer to power? Now, flash us with your best smile. Let the world know that you breastfed. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to celebrate them, How about you guys stand with us there in the company of our guest of honor? We launch officially. Yes. Every one of you has added a break. You can put your accolades on your tables, or you can put them here. As far as I know, there is no chief face that can take that thing. The team that should help us with Banange, we cannot launch without the NPM. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Akoko. The guest of honor asked if I still remember what the NPM means. I remember. I even want. This one I have volunteered to popularize. Ladies and gentlemen, it shall be remembered that on this day, the 12th, I hope everyone is on this day, the 12th of August, 2026, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Uganda, with all supporting partners, launched the nutrient profile model in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big congratulations to Ugandans, first of all, because they are the beneficiaries, and big congratulations to everyone who gave it time, thought, and energy. Asante sana. Yes, let's immortalize this moment. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. I like what Mr. Marcus said. As you grow older, you start reading the labels. Everyone here, wherever you're going this evening, read the what? Read the label. Read the label on the energy drink. Read the label on the milk you buy. Read the label on the processed foods that you buy. And, try to match them with the nutrient profile model. I hope this is going to be accessed online. Yeah, at some point. Yeah, we need it. Yeah. We have a QR code, by the way. Those of you who don't understand what a QR code is, there's a white paper on the table. It has a lot of black dots. Connected together, they form a square of sorts. Scan it with your smartphone. Yes, it will link you to a website. And I encourage everyone. It's not a bad thing to take wine and some of those liquids in brown and green bottles. But like the guest of honor said, it is a growing pandemic. It is a growing. That one I would also, by the way, volunteer to be a champion, but that would require that I quit today. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being part of this very big thing today. We want to thank you once again for honoring the invitation to be here. We declare that this one is a success at launch and success in implementation. May we go out there and spread the gospel and about the benefits of adequately breastfeeding. Those of us who didn't get the benefits, sorry. But for those that we can help and save, let's do it. The little we can do, we must what? Do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what follows up here is Q&A and media moments with key people. So the media available here, we have that backdrop outside. I think it will be the most appropriate to use where the light is natural. If you want to interview any of our technical people from the ministry and our key partners, this is the moment. There is that song that is almost Ugandan by sound that we should have had in this moment. Congratulations and jubilation. So, by all means and measures, this has been a great day. So because what we are launching today has nutrition dotted all over it, this is a nutrition profile model. We have nutrition guidelines for children. The nutrition profile model has a lot to do with also adults, like the ones we see here. There's no way you're going to live without being fed. So please stay put. Our very able team is going to come and pick every one of us from our table and take you to the serving point. In the meantime, let us use this time for media. If we can use about 10 minutes for media personnel to interview whoever you want to interview, from the technical teams of the ministry to our partners. Please access whoever you want to access now. And we can call it a good day. We can call it a good day where we have launched a good thing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for honoring the invitation to be here. We want to thank especially the breastfeeding mothers who are here.
Yes, media, just in case you want to interview the Honorable Minister of Health, please, he's here. Media, please come. For any, you want interview from outside? Okay.
So, yeah, this moment also has to come to an end. This beautiful moment. May the benefits live forever. I am very, very sure now. Hypoglycemia has kicked in. Very sure, because people have been sat here for long hours. We want to also thank people, the team that put this together. Big thanks. Big thanks. I think it is in order for Dr. Samali to give us short closing remarks. Doctor in the center there is a good place to be.
Davis.
Microphone is also suffering.
Thank you very much for coming and blessing.